Do you got games on your phone?
What's going on, YouTube? Raging Kodiak, we got an educational banger for you. So Dead by Daylight has released the Xenomorph to the player test build, which is only available to Steam. However, the console players, I don't want you to feel left out. So I'm going to go ahead and put a comprehensive guide together to kind of explain how the Xenomorph works, talk about its height, its perks, its terror radius, its tunneling system, and give you just a little bit of information that will get you caught up, if you will, to everybody else that had a chance to play the Xenomorph. Speaking firstly, we're going to talk about the perks. So Xenomorph actually has 3 teachable perks: Rapid Brutality, Alien Instinct, and Ultimate Weapon. Rapid Brutality, you no longer have the ability to gain Bloodlust. However, when you hit a survivor with a basic attack, you gain a 5% haze status effect for 8, 9, and 10 seconds. Alien Instinct, when you hook a survivor, Alien Instinct then activates. The aura of the farthest injured survivor is then revealed to you for 5 seconds. The survivor then suffers from the Oblivious status effect for 16, 18, or 20 seconds. And the last teachable perk is Ultimate Weapon. Whenever you open a locker, Ultimate Weapon activates for 30 seconds. Survivors entering your terror radius scream, revealing their location to you, and then those survivors then suffer from the blindness status effect for 30 seconds. Next, we're going to talk about the attributes of the Xenomorph. So Xenomorph moves at 4.6 meters a second, so it is a considerably standard speed killer. That does not change considering its status of whether it's in 2-wheel drive, or I like to call 4-wheel drive, which is the runner mode. It has a 32 meter base terror radius, which I'm going to cover later, but it does actually change when it goes into runner mode because it allows you to be a little bit more stealthier. And the height of the Xenomorph is average. Covering the abilities of it, the power is called Hidden Pursuit. So it says when the Xenomorph is in a trial, a series of tunnels become available to it. By accessing a control station, it can enter these tunnels by quickly move around the map. You detect the presence of nearby survivors, and you can speed up the cooldown of its runner mode. Exiting a control station momentarily deactivates deployed turrets and tags nearby survivors with Killer Instinct. Special ability is called Runner Mode. The Xenomorph enters runner mode automatically when not on cooldown. In runner mode, the Xenomorph walks on 4 legs and becomes stealthier, reducing its terror radius. While in runner mode, the Xenomorph also has access to a brutal tail attack. So again, I'm going to cover these a little bit later on, but it goes from 32 meters down to 24, and that was confirmed. This special map feature is the control stations. 7 control stations are scattered across the map. Survivors can interact with these stations to get a remote flame turret, while the Xenomorph can enter and exit the tunnels underneath the control stations. So the special item is the remote flame turret. Turrets can be placed on the map to counteract the Xenomorph. When the Xenomorph enters the radius and line of sight of the turret attacks. This then staggers the Xenomorph and could cause runner mode to end. If a turret successfully knocks a Xenomorph out of runner mode or fires for too long, it'll actually overheat and must be repaired by a survivor. The Xenomorph can attack turrets to destroy them. Carrying a turret makes you immune to detection while the killer is in the tunnel. First things that I want to cover is the height of the Xenomorph. So while it's in the standing mode, they consider him a average size. So Huntress, Freddy, Pig, it's weird how they put a marker on this. So when it's in a standing mode, it's nearly to the top of the lockers. But if you look at the pyramid, he is rated at a tall status, but their pyramid head is considered tall. Xenomorph is considered average, but then so is Freddy, and then so is Pig. Doesn't make any sense to me. When it enters runner mode, it actually goes into a much shorter status. The only thing that's above is the tail. The tail is still within the larger range, but it is quite small to see, so harder to see over stuff. Sadako is the only short killer in the game. So I, showing you what Sadako and the Xenomorph look like next to each other. Talking about the terror radius. The terror radius is at 32 meters, which is a very standard terror radius, and showcasing what it would look like in game versus what happens when you go into runner mode. So it goes from 32 meters down to 24 to allow you to be a little bit on the stealthier side. So if you notice, you could probably run different perks that would affect it, but the terror radius then drops from 32 down to 24. The tail whip, we did a lot of testing to figure out the distance, and we did get confirmation from somebody that works with behavior about the distance and kind of dealing with what it's going to look like and kind of how it affects. So it's a 4.5 meter attack. So the yellow is not exactly what you're looking for. That's going to go further than the actual tail does. Nemesis whip is actually longer. So if I'm not mistaken, the Nemesis whip is 5 meters, and that's a little bit longer than what the Xenomorph one is. So the Xenomorph attack is actually at an angle. So looking at what was discussed by John Wang, he says that, 4.5 meters seems correct, which we did some testing, it is. But it is an angle attack, so that's why it says it may reach less of a distance in front of you when aligned on the axis. So that's kind of neat. Going into the tunnel system here, the tunnels are very intricate, so if you want to look around and kind of mark where you want to head to, you can hit your ability button and mark where you want to go. It will actually give you a yellow highlighted trail. Coming out of it takes very little time. It's quite quick being able to come up and out of the tunnels. Looking at the ability of the tracking, you can actually see the footsteps of the survivors as they run around. So you'll be able to track where they're going, where they might be, if they're running off. It's a pretty cool ability to be able to watch them run around and maybe try and sneak up on them and come out of the tunnels with. The other caveat is you're going to have some delay time coming up and out of the tunnels. A factor behind that is going to be if there is a hook nearby. So it will actually prevent you from being able to come up and out of the tunnels right next to a hook and just be the weird, Aki killer main that we all are, right? So it'll actually cause you to be a little bit more delayed, giving the survivors more time to come up and out, which I 100% agree with. So as I said earlier, Xenomorph is releasing for everybody on August 29th. So hopefully this gave you some insight on Xenomorph, kind of explaining what you could expect with him. This is obviously from the PTB, so things are subject to change once it goes into live servers. So hopefully you found this useful. Hopefully you're going to enjoy Xenomorph as much as I did, because I think he's a fantastic killer. I think he's in a really good spot. There are some things that are probably going to change with him, but again, I'm really excited and once learning him, and I'm really curious. Let me know in the comments below if you plan to main Xenomorph, and if you are you going to P100 him? And who do you think is going to be the first P100 Xenomorph, and how long do you think it's going to take? So, till the next one, be good to yourselves, be good to others, tell somebody that you love them. If you like what you see, be a friend, tell a friend. If not, let's pretend it even happened. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up on the video. Comment below if you found this useful, and if I miss anything that you would have added into here. Hit that subscribe so you don't miss out on any other information going forward. So until the next one, much love all.